How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. It's good to have you back. It's been a little while,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
uh, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed your time in Sedona.
It was fun. Sightseeing's always kind of cool, and then also seeing it from a different perspective. Because I've been there. I went when I was a kid, and
Yeah,
I just went for swimming and jumping off the rocks when I was a kid.
nice.
Like seeing it from an adult perspective, it's different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you appreciate it differently, right? So,
Yeah.
um, but cool, man. Well, it's good to have you back. Definitely a lot has transpired since we last spoke. Obviously, it's nice that officially, Elon's comp package has passed with flying colors. So that was a
Yeah.
huge relief, I'm sure, to many of us, including myself. I definitely had a little bit of nervousness going into it. My heart was pumping right before they announced the results, but it's nice that we have Elon locked in now for at least another 5 to 7 years, call it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, what was your immediate reaction when you found out?
Oh, again, I was optimistic. For me, it was like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
So
done.
it's like you're like, yep, that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, yeah. So I felt good. For me, again, it was one of those things that cool, like relief for sure, because now we don't have to worry about that, right? So for me, it was just, all
Yeah.
right, cool, it's done, it's over with, let's move on. And then I was wondering whether things were gonna change stock wise, and clearly they went down super bad today. I don't know if you saw it.
Yep, yep. It's
Uh,
think I definitely think it's more macro driven than it is kind of anything related to Tesla.
yeah, yeah,
I think it's a combination of buying the rumor, selling the news as well. I think like an extension of it where, it pumped so much going into the shareholder meeting that now it's like, okay, cool. Let's take a little profit, take some money off the table, and then, let this market kind of cool off a little bit. Uh so yeah, definitely a lot of interesting stuff going on. Obviously Michael Burry maybe has one or two things to do about the market downturn perhaps, but who knows? I think it's a whole kind of whirlpool of things driving the market down.
yeah. Definitely
So,
a lot of different reasons as to why the market's down.
but you know what's interesting is like, yeah, the market's down. We're at like sub 400 right now. I think I haven't checked the price, but we're at sub 400, and I'm not losing like any sleep at all, knowing that we have Elon locked in over the next 5 years. Like, just enjoy the ride. You're gonna have these sort of cool off periods where hopefully you can, scoop up a couple more shares at a discount. But for the most part, it's like, hey, I'm just sitting back and enjoying the ride. I know Elon's locked in for the next half decade, so I'm just kind of looking at 2030. What does Tesla look like at that point? Presume that even at 2030, there's still a ton of growth left for Tesla over the next 10 to 20 years. Beyond that, right now, I'm just kind of letting the team cook, and so I think I definitely feel, particularly with autonomy, that we are on the cusp of like unleashing this behemoth of a business model out in the wild. So I think it's just a matter of any day now, almost, as opposed to like, is it going to happen? So,
Yeah,
like my experience with V14, I'm on V14.1.4. As of last night, people have been getting 14.1.7, and so far it's been, for the most part, pretty well reviewed. I think Devin Olson, I think he had like one bad experience with it where he said this is probably the closest he's gotten to any sort of accident using FSD V14. I'll have to take a look at that. I haven't seen the video. I think he's going to publish a video at some point. I don't think he has published it as of us talking right now, but for the most part, I think so far everybody seems to be enjoying dot seven. So I'm looking forward to getting that here over the next couple of days because I got a couple road trips coming up for Thanksgiving
cool.
and such. It'll be nice to have that by then. So
Yeah,
um, yeah,
I think the cool thing is that I've been seeing a lot of news about how Tesla has been FSD has been doing things for people. Like I don't know if you saw the pregnant lady whose husband wasn't home and the
yep,
car took her all the way to the hospital. Like stories like that, where
yep.
I'm just like, I'm so happy that these stories are coming out about the cars doing these things for people.
For sure. I mean, look, dirty Tesla, right? Like something happened to his finger where it got like super infected, and so he could only use effectively just one hand. But the fact that he had FSD take him to and from the hospital, for him it was like it's the little things in life, but it was so convenient that he didn't have to worry about getting to the hospital or in one piece, so to speak, because
Yeah,
he was in so much pain. So yeah, it's. I mean, I forget where I saw the stat. I think a lot of people are talking about it where supposedly a study was done. I don't know who did it. Maybe you've heard this, but a study was done that FSD, not just I don't think autonomous, like I don't think autopilot, but FSD itself, I believe, has already saved approximately like 35,000 lives.
yes,
Like
yes,
that's pretty gnarly to think about. That's a stadium. A
yeah,
stadium worth full of people who's still living today thanks to FSD.
yeah,
And yet nobody bats an eye, right? Nobody thinks, wow, thank you Tesla for saving lives. And so it's these little things that it's like, dude, so many families right now are enjoying their loved ones still in their presence thanks to Tesla. Like nobody kind of thinks about it that deep, you know?
Yeah. I,
Um,
I I think
but
I think the bigger the numbers, the harder it is to grasp. I think there's like a
it,
psychological thing. The bigger.
yeah,
There you go. Okay. Sorry.
no, all good, all good. No, I agree. I think too, I was thinking about it the other day. The reason people don't really see that as as a major accomplishment is because it's so scattered. For example, like, obviously you hate the circumstances where like 747 crashes and there are like 120 people on board and they all, you know, passed away. The thing that is more shocking with that is that they all passed away at the same time, so many people at one time, you know? Uh
Yeah.
or, you know, genocide or whatever it is, like so many people passing away at one time, there's a lot of shock and awe. But with car accidents and people dying from drunk drivers or whatever, it's over the course of a year you get like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, I think definitely tens of thousands of deaths over the course of the whole year. And they're scattered all over the US. And of course this is just the US stat. Worldwide is probably much worse. But and so you don't really feel that impact, you know?
Yeah.
But I imagine over time as robotaxi continues to broaden out, as the technology continues to improve, obviously it's never going to be perfect, but it'll be close to it. People are going to realize, holy cow, you know, this thing saved my life. You know, a lot of like that Cybertruck guy, I forget, I don't know his name, but the Cybertruck guy that was coming back home from the shareholder meeting, and the Cybertruck dodged another car that was in his lane trying to pass a semi, you know? And so, uh, you know, those kind of things that like you're going to see more and more of as more people actually start taking robotaxi and start buying Teslas, you know? So
Yeah.
it's, and I think if Elon wants to hit that milestone of 20 million lifetime units, uh, I think at some point they're going to have to start actually advertising cars, you know, like, hey, this can save your life. This could save your kid's life. And you don't have to drive and you can text, you know?
Yes. Yes. The texting thing. I thought that was kind of funny. Um, how he said people don't want to drive. They want to just sit there and text. Like you don't want to
Just be
reach
on their
over.
phone.
Yeah. You don't want
Yep.
to reach over and tell people like, can I take over or whatever. I think the idea behind everyone posting about the Super Bowl, I think that's kind of funny. I don't know if you've seen that. Like everyone's
No, I
like,
haven't seen it. What's that about?
people just keep making like mini commercials for Tesla and saying like this should be on the Super Bowl or whatever.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of people are just wanting Tesla to publicize FSD on like in a bigger public forum.
yeah.
Um, I think if they did show FSD on the Super Bowl, that would be amazing.
I agree. I mean, of all advertisements, this is the event to do it. This is the event because you have I don't know how many 100 million Americans watching or however many people watch, right? 65
Yeah,
million people watch the Super Bowl. And but I'm sure it's like 100 million worldwide probably. And so especially now that V14 is really good and it's by 14.2 it's going to be even better, and then 14.3 it's going to be like super sentient according to, you know, to paraphrase what Elon has said. And so I would imagine by February we have 14.3 for sure, 14.2. And so by then say, hey, for the most part, depending on your location, you can text and drive and not supervise the car, and you're still getting from point A to point B safely without getting pulled over by a cop or something like that. You know, like that use case is going to be so compelling to people to be like, dude, I can literally scroll through TikTok my entire car ride. Like, sign me up. Where do I buy this thing? You know?
yeah, definitely. I feel like people are gonna love the idea of being able to do whatever you want. I feel like
Yeah,
whenever I talk to people about this, a lot of them go, "So you can answer emails and stuff," and I'm just looking at them like, "Yes, you will be
yeah,
able to. Like, you'll be able to do whatever you want. If you're half
exactly.
asleep with your morning coffee, just put it in your car and take a nap, and then get to work. Like, all good."
Yeah,
I think, I think
and it's
also
just crazy how people don't see it.
no, it is
Go
wild,
ahead.
and I think there's been a few people that I'm not trying to convince them. Like I'm done trying to convince people. Like if they ask questions, I'll give them my answer. But for a long time, I felt like myself trying to convince people to like realize like what I'm saying. But now it's kind of just there's so much there, there's just so much facts on the whole FSD thing that I'm just like yes, the car drives itself. No, you won't have to worry
Yeah.
about like having to drive anymore, and your kids probably will never have to worry about it either. And they don't get it, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what to tell you now.
I know. I think it's going to take a massive like education effort for people to realize that, and I think that's going to take many years, because you can only teach so many people so much, you know, before they start not paying attention. But I was thinking about it the other day. I thought, man, my kids are not going to have to learn how to drive at all, and I am looking forward to being able to kind of send them to school in a car or to their friend's house or to, you know, whatever sports or whatever they're in. I can just send them in the car and I don't have to take them if I'm not available, you know?
Yes.
And I'm really stoked about that prospect in the next, call it 5 to 10 years. For sure, I would think in the next 5 years, like that's gonna be a very real possibility.
Maybe even less, man. And that's the
I would
wild part.
imagine less. Yeah, I know. I'm stoked
I
about
almost
that.
want to say 2 years, specifically for us who understand what it is,
Yeah,
because all it is just literally okay. They if they do it in San Diego in the next year, you're good. Like you'll probably be able to send them just about anywhere in less than a year or two from now. Like
yeah,
you'll just like yeah, just take them to whatever game, or I'll see you later, and I'll just take Robo Taxi back or whatever.
yeah, man. That's gonna be crazy. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, just take it one at a time. I definitely feel it. Like 14 is is something else. Like, yeah, you still have those kind of like things that need to get polished up, the brake jittering or whatever they call it now. But I feel it in like the acceleration and the deceleration. Like, for example, being in traffic on the freeway now, I don't worry about the car braking too late anymore. Like it brakes just in like it brakes perfectly like I would. It looks for braking lights and it immediately reacts. And I really appreciate that because that's what I'm gonna need to pass the wife test. Like uh
Yes.
I feel like that's what's been kind of hindering my wife from fully embracing it is that sometimes it just breaks a little too late on V13, for example. But now it keeps a great amount of distance, a good amount of distance, comfortable amount of distance, brakes comfortably, accelerates comfortably. And so once they fine tune those finishing touches of like the braking, which supposedly a lot of it for the most part has been addressed here in 14.1.7. But of course by 14.2, it'll be like a smooth operator, like it's gonna be great. So
Yeah. Uh, you know what's something that I thought was cool? And this is me going like deep into the Tesla stuff.
yeah,
When Elon was talking about being able to download your brain into the ether onto a robot,
that's crazy.
the
That is
fact
so
that someone
crazy.
asked that question and he actually responded, I never thought he was gonna respond.
Yeah, gosh, that is beyond like my puny brain's understanding. To download your brain onto like a robot.
I,
Oh man.
that's how I literally told my wife. I've told her years ago, and I said this is how I want to. This is how I'm thinking I'm gonna be able to live forever because it's something I've always said like I would love to like watch the progression of the world, even if it's just like a fly on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, that is interesting what the world is going to look like in 100 years. Like my grandkids, like our grandkids, what kind of world are they going to be living in 100 years? I mean, flying
Seriously.
cars? Like, are we finally going to have flying cars? AI is going to rule the world and nobody's going to work anymore. Like, is it a Wall-E kind of world? Like a dystopia like that? Or do we actually have utopia?
I feel like it's definitely Wally.
Unfortunately, it seems like all signs are pointing to that. Like you look at our Gen Z and Gen Alpha today, and unfortunately, I feel like they say this about every generation, but you see it. I feel like this one is different in the sense of like everything is kind of served on a silver platter for the younger generation right now. If you need to learn anything or you need anything, it's on the palm of your hand. If you need to order food through DoorDash, it's in your phone. If you need to look up anything and everything in the world, it's on your language model on your phone. It's like if you need entertainment, you have infinite amount of options, and so I hate to use the L word, but all this sort of all these sort of material things just all lead to just laziness,
Yes,
and
facts.
and I do worry about the younger generation, um, as far as just like everything they want and need is just a couple taps of their phone away, and I'm like, dude, what are they going to learn what hard work is anymore, So anyway, that's just me being super dystopian. I don't mean to overgeneralize. I know there are a lot of good young, Gen Alphas and Gen Zers, but just I'm overgeneralizing here, obviously. So,
Yeah. No,
so
and, I think there is the older generation's not wrong. Everyone just gets it easier than the last, and because we get it
yeah,
easier than the last, it does create some type of laziness. Because if you wanted information about anything, you would go to the library and you would go and find it.
yeah,
And now you could just chat GBT it, Grok it. Like Google was already killing it. Like Google
yeah,
was already making me feel like, why do we need books? What's the point of
right,
books?
right,
And then now it's like, okay, really, why do we need books at this point? Anything that I have an issue with, I'll just Grok most of it. Like I have an issue with my fish tank or something's acting up, I'll just go look it
yeah.
up on and it'll tell me exactly what I should do. Like what is it that might be the issue or what I should approach how should I approach the next step? Like
Here's the other thing that I'm trying to wrap my mind around is the concept of macro hard. to like eventually not need applications, but to still have the software do what you needed to do. Like I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that, you know? Like eventually there is kind of like in China what they have already with WeChat, the super app. Go ahead. So I just think that that's going to be gnarly to have a software that can just do what you need and probably already know what you want before you tell it. You know what I mean? So,
Sorry, I forgot to tell my wife I was on the podcast today.
no worries, no worries.
Dang it.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, the nice thing is, thankfully we live in a day and age where editing is so much easier these days.
Oh
It
yeah, that
just
part.
through editing software, it just cuts out the silences and it's so easy nowadays.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But so anyway, yeah, that was the only thing. We don't have to really dive into that. Like I was just saying that macro hard is to me, I got to learn more about it and wrap my mind around what that really entails in the medium to long term. So,
I'm
but
sorry, I didn't get to hear any of that. What happened? What is macro hard?
well, I was just gonna say, so macro hard. I don't know if you know, Elon created macro hard, which is is kind of like the funny, ironic little jab at Microsoft. Uh,
Hmm.
so it's basically going to be like the new frontier in software that eliminates, I think, like all applications needed to run a company. So like now with Microsoft, obviously you have this enterprise suite, but eventually with MacroHard, like it's going to be one software that just does like what you need it to do. Now I'm no expert or anything. I don't know exactly what it does. There are other folks that can explain it way better than I can. But in a nutshell, my layman's kind of dummy brain is how I understand that. So so anyway,
Hmm.
it's just like this, a super app down the road. Like in China, they have what you probably heard of WeChat, for example.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
eventually,
Does everything.
we'll have a super app at some point that can kind of like do everything. Like ChatGPT is already trying to do that, in which um, they through ChatGPT and all these different APIs, you can order an Uber or you can order food through ChatGPT, and so or even book a hotel, book a flight, whatever. And so eventually, you won't need all these different applications. You'll just have the one application that has an API that works with everything, and then you can just go to that one central source. So
That's cool. I like that a lot.
anyway, I think that that's what the future holds eventually, but it's just crazy, man. Trying to wrap your mind around all that stuff.
It's
It's a
almost like having
paradigm
a
shift.
personal assistant.
That's exactly it. Yep. So so yeah, but going back to Tesla and the shareholder meeting.
Yes.
Definitely a little bummed about the XAI investment to some
Yeah.
extent. I mean, I don't know if I'm really that bummed, but just kind of, I expected it to kind of pass with flying colors since everybody and their mother was kind of talking about, hey, we got to vote for an XAI investment, even though I feel like even now with its current valuation, it really wouldn't make too much of a difference. But, and I feel like there's already synergy regardless between XAI and Tesla.
Yeah.
So why does it have to be an investment? Why can't it just be like a partnership? Maybe there's more to it than meets the eye, but obviously at some point XAI will hopefully kind of be along the lines of $1 trillion plus company, and maybe that's where the investment comes in. But if it's already valued at, I don't know, maybe a couple $100 billion at least, it just I don't know. I feel like we could put that money to work elsewhere. That's
Yeah.
just me, but I don't know. How did you feel about it?
I was a little bummed too, but I think Elon's not giving up on it. I feel like
Yeah,
he's been tweeting a lot about, or not a lot, but I saw him tweet about how his companies are all going to like converge
converge.
basically. Like, yeah, they're getting to that point. And I find that kind of cool. I think I'm more hyped about the fact that he was talking about chips and how Tesla's probably gonna have to go into the chip manufacturing world.
Yeah, we definitely need
And
to talk about that.
yes, making them probably cheaper, probably making them faster than everyone else. Again, Tesla's a powerhouse when it comes to manufacturing, so it wouldn't be super surprising if they optimize those chips to the point where it's ridiculous. And again, like Elon said, he has chips in the brain, like he's literally falling asleep and dreaming about chips.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's like him saying that he's gonna get chunky or something, but like he's definitely going to change the chip game, I'm sure, because he does that with everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing that and it being another multiple $1 trillion valuation added on top of Tesla's valuation.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about the chip fab comment that Elon said. I two things. If it goes through, if he actually comes through with this roadmap, we won't see honestly, we won't see the fruits of it, like good fruits yielded from it for at least a decade. Just because like the fabrication process is so incredibly complex. And for example, TSMC has been at it for decades. And I would say as of maybe 10 years ago, that's where they became like the prime, maybe 20 years ago, but the prime supplier of silicon. And so you have Samsung, who's also been at it for 10 plus years. Like they're barely able to keep up with TSMC, and Samsung I would consider to be a formidable player in all things tech. And so even with Samsung not being able to kind of be up to par with the quality that TSMC offers, like that says something about how complex this arena is of creating your own silicon. And then you got other little ones. You got like Intel, who kind of flailing. You got like Global Foundries and all these other guys. And so that's going to be interesting. I think if there are any players that can jump into this space and succeed over the long term, I would think it is Tesla, considering you have Elon at the helm. But I don't know if one Elon is super serious about this. He's definitely not going to do anything in the short term, in the next 5 years, 2 to 5 years, just because like I think we have the capacity needed with the TSMCs of the world, with the Samsungs of the world over the next 5 years to satisfy the demand, even though demand will be off the charts. But I would imagine over the next 10 to 15 years, like Elon probably will want to kind of start breaking ground on creating something new, or he's using this as kind of leverage to try to compel the TSMCs and the Samsungs of the world to recognize, hey, you're probably not going to be the only couple players in town for the long term. So you might want to kind of like keep your pricing in check, so to speak. Like when it comes to pricing, competitive pricing.
Yeah.
If Tesla comes into the game, then they're like, oh shoot, we got another competitor in town. We're gonna need to kind of like compete on pricing now. So that's more like a 5, 10, 15 year play. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting if Tesla actually does kind of pull through on this, or if they just kind of leverage the current players. Intel. Elon brought up Intel during the shareholder meeting, so maybe there is some sort of collaboration there. I can't imagine it would amount to much, but maybe there is a little bit of collaboration there. So yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, it's crazy that Tesla is like super hyper focused on hyper verticalizing the whole stack. Everything from literally creating the chips to your finished product and Optimus. So it'll be interesting if they can pull that off in the long term. But yeah, I agree. It'll probably be a $1 trillion plus company or part of the business if they can do it.
Yeah, I think the whole so Elon, two things. Elon has been talking about chips before the shareholder meeting. He was talking
Yep.
about chips during COVID time. Um, and so he's been thinking of wanting to make chips. I feel like again, like you said, it is a tougher market to start getting into, but I do think that he sees a bottleneck just like how there was he saw a bottleneck in the battery supply chain. Um, so hopefully I think he doesn't want to get into chips, but because of that, I
Yeah.
very much still do think that they're going to end up getting into them. And then yes, I think that because they're going to be making their own chips, it will probably cut costs on the chips they currently buy and own. That again, I think in the long run, it's going to be really good for Tesla, just like everything else when they vertically integrate their everything.
Yeah.
But the Terafab sounds wild.
That would be wild. Again, I think as successful as Tesla has been, obviously they've had kind of a couple L's here and there.
Yeah,
One of them being like the 4680 battery. Like, unfortunately, they weren't able to kind of ramp. They weren't able to kind of ramp that to a point where it's a super duper meaningful part of the business. I think it will be over the long run, but for the most part, we're still on the 2170s, right? And
yeah,
so, sorry, let me just check here. Okay, we're good. And so that was one is like 4680 battery cell. Unfortunately, it didn't kind of exceed expectations, or I think it met expectations, maybe. I don't know, but it didn't exceed expectations. And then the other
yeah,
one is like Dojo. I think they tried to verticalize their own sort of like chip on their end for data center, but it just it didn't eventually meet the standards that Tesla was looking for. So they're like, hey, I think it's better to kind of just allocate our resources to kind of continue ramping on Nvidia's hardware.
yeah,
So I think, but I'm sure they learned a ton from that. So I just don't. I, if there's anybody I'm willing to put the money on that can do it is Elon, but at the same time, cautiously optimistic that, hey, I don't want like a 3.0 of something that Tesla gets into and doesn't kind of exceed their own expectations, And so,
yeah,
especially when it comes to a fabrication plant, like this isn't just, let's try something different and see if it sticks. Like this is massive, And so
yeah.
it's super capital intensive. A lot of money would have to get thrown at it. And so yeah, obviously they have the brightest minds kind of leading the charge, so they'll know what the best path is. But
Yeah.
so yeah, we'll
I
see. We'll
think
see how that goes.
I I think that being a Tesla share owner does come with the double-edged sword. The idea of them going into projects and again, you we know we bet on them every time and hope that they get it
Mhm.
right, but not every single thing that they hit is going to hit. Like it's not
Yeah,
always going to be perfect.
right.
But I do think that that's one thing that as a Tesla investor, it's pretty cool to think that their approach on trying to solve every issue is amazing. It always ends up with an amazing outcome on our side. And yes,
Yeah.
that will probably suck if they start throwing a bunch of money in that direction. But I feel like they're always trying to find a way to spend some of the money that they make. Like there's always a new project. When everyone saw the robots for the first time, it was like, oh dang, where are we going? What
What are you
direction are we
doing?
going now? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I feel like it's very much that all the time with Tesla. It's like, okay, we got the cars and they seem to be doing very well, and there's gonna be a battery thing that they're trying to do, and then the battery thing is it's still chugging along, right? But then there's
Right.
FSD, and then there's the robot, and now there's the chips. So again, it's I feel like it's just another thing that they are going to attempt because at at some point it's interesting to think that Tesla almost doesn't look at money as money because the whole company is thinking, oh, we're gonna grow super big, so let's just keep innovating and keep changing and because they're still moving like a small company, even though they're massive now.
Yeah. 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 That is what's crazy about it.
So I do think I get what you're saying, the whole like it's gonna be a lot of money and how smart they are, but I feel like they're gonna attempt it anyways because of that, like of who Tesla is generally.
Yeah. 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 That's just in their DNA, right? Is like they keep pushing forward and seeing what kind of new frontiers we can find. So, but cool, man. Was there anything else you wanted to kind of touch on? I know there was like a lot over the last, call it 9 days since we last spoke, but I'm just super relieved that we locked in Elon, and
Yeah,
I think it's just a matter of letting him cook now, you know?
yeah. No, I honestly I'm hyped.
Totally.
I'm ready to wait it out and see what happens in the next year to 10 years. So I'm excited for the next 2 months and then next year and see what they're gonna show us and how the progress of FSD. And honestly, I'm excited for all the cities that it's gonna go to by the end of the year at least. Like that's yeah, I'm happy that everything worked out the way it did. We locked
Yeah.
them in for at least 7+ years. Done.
Yep. And like I said earlier in the pod, I'm like not worried about this recent dip in the stock.
Nah.
I think if we hadn't locked in Elon yet, I'd be like, Eesh, like it probably sting a little bit.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't let go of my shares, but now that Elon's in, I'm like, hey, I'm not worried about it. I'm seeing this as a, buy the dip opportunity, no financial advice at all.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
But just kind of, pick up a couple shares here and there. Just knowing that there's a very decent possibility that 5 years from now, this current $400 ish price, even 350 if it goes down that far. I think I saw somewhere that 369, 370 is the next kind of support level. So it might bounce off of that or it might keep going down, but like that's gonna just look like a steal come,
Yeah.
2030. So that's how
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking about it. Is like, hey, if I could pick up a couple more shares at a discount, I'll take it, knowing that, hey, we're probably likely looking at $1,000 stock at some point in the next 12, 24. I would say 24 to 36 months, probably.
Yeah.
Um, so
Especially
anyway,
if they start growing like crazy, I don't see why not.
because that's all you need, right? Is line of sight. Like once you see, oh
Yeah.
wow, you have how many driverless cars in Austin now? How many driverless cars in the Bay Area? Oh, you got 2,000 by January, end of January, call it. Obviously Elon said 1,500 by the end of the year, but you got 2,000. Oh, the following month you got 3,000 now. Like you start seeing that exponential scale or
Yeah. Yeah.
scaling, right? So you're like, okay, line of sight. If you can get to 10,000 cars, what does the cash flow kind of equate out to? Oh, okay, let's put a premium of whatever multiplier on that, and then boom, you're looking at a 500, $750 stock or whatever it is. So,
Yep, exactly.
um, so yeah, man, it's exciting times. I think it's just a matter of when, not if, hopefully. But just taking it one day at a time. And if we get these little dip opportunities, I'm going in.
Yeah. Keep buying.
So cool, man. Well, it was nice catching up again. And yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's
man.
Thursday, so hopefully we can catch up here in a few days and see what
Yeah,
kind of good
yeah.
stuff happens over the weekend. Hopefully I get 14.1.7 here in the next couple days, and
Yeah.
supposedly this is a lot smoother. So I'll keep you posted on that
Cool, cool,
and how my
cool.
experience has been.
It was good talking to you, man. Hey, everything we say is not financial advice. We're just talking.
We're just chatting. Two dummies who don't know anything.
Yeah. Later.
So, all right, man. Have a good night. See ya.
You too. See ya.